Before we get into the recap of May's development update for the upcoming MMO Ashes of Creation, I should quickly add that this was one of the best development update streams to date, so make sure to stick around. I want to play for you guys 2 clips that occurred during the stream, and for those who may not be familiar, the man who is speaking is Steven Sharif, the owner and creative director of Intrepid Studios.
You can have the best looking game out there, and if the gameplay's not good, if the systems don't make sense, if there's problems with the economy and whatnot, like all of that beauty goes to waste. And at the same time, you can have a game that has amazing systems and has amazing gameplay, and that can keep a game going for a very long time. But if you also have with that beautiful sceneries and immersive world environments and awesome visual effects and just stuff that brings you into the world, that's like the holy grail, right? That's and especially if the company that publishes that game doesn't put in pay to convenience or pay to win items, you're like, oh my God, we've done it.
The main part of that clip that I want to highlight is Steven reaffirming that Ashes will not have pay to convenience or pay to win items in their game. These types of cash shops seem almost inevitable with every MMO that hits the market, and it almost feels like a lost cause trying to advocate for game companies to stay away from these greedy practices. And then we have Intrepid Studios making perhaps the most ambitious MMO of all time, and they're making it clear that Ashes will be a game that's not going to go down that path. It's kind of sad to say, but this is actually something truly special to hear from the owner of a company that's making an MMO, and it's one of the reasons why I've latched onto this game on my channel.
And one of our core pillars is risk versus reward. And the higher that risk, the higher that reward should be. So, those 2 things seem fitting. And then in addition, we do have the concept of winners and losers. Not everybody in Ashes of Creation is going to be a winner. And that sucks if you're not, I guess, but there is opportunity for you to continue to excel and become one, right? But it gives much more meaning to an achievement when not everybody gets the achievement.
And that clip combined with no pay to win kind of seals the deal for me in terms of this game having my utmost attention right now. Too many games these days are afraid of having winners and losers because they do not want to upset any one player. And in turn, many of these games end up upsetting all players as players become depressed zombies just going through the motions of an MMO with very little engagement needed and hardly any feelings to be experienced. Having risk and reward creates true engagement. Knowing that you might lose or lose something probably makes you want to succeed that much more. Knowing that if you succeed in something, whether this is crafting related, PvP, raiding, or even simply gathering materials in a dangerous area, that your success will actually mean something and have true value for yourself and the world around you, makes you want to succeed that much more. And this in turn, for myself and many other gamers, creates an engaging world full of excitement. It makes me want to play a game as opposed to having to play a game to log in and get my daily reward for simply clicking the login button. So those were 2 clips that I wanted to share with you guys, which were from the May development update that I wanted to just quickly talk about before we get into my typical Ashes of Creation development update summary. Chapter markers will be below. As always, we have a lot to talk about today, a lot of cool stuff with the weather and season system. Let's jump right in. Starting off with a studio update, Intrepid is currently on a hiring extravaganza, and 5 new employees actually started on Monday of this week. As always, if you are a talented dev looking for a job, head over to the Ashes of Creation website and help them make this game good. The new studio that Intrepid moved into is starting to get really close to its final form, so hopefully we'll get a studio tour at some point in the near future. Alright, now I want to get into the dynamic weather and season demonstration, which was the heart of this development update. The footage that's playing in the background is in-game footage of Steven playing as a Vec Orc, which are the stargazing orcs that look similar to trolls in World of Warcraft. The first thing I noticed right away was the animations of this character, which seem to be greatly improving as time goes on, which is always good to see. Please keep in mind that Ashes is of course a work in progress and there's still a lot of work to be done, so all of the footage that you are seeing is subject to change and most definitely it will improve, although I have to say it's looking pretty good as it is right now. Also note that Steven has God controls while he's playing, so you will be seeing the weather and seasons changing very rapidly whenever he puts in certain commands. The general idea as of right now is to have each season last about 1 week of IRL time, but there are other factors in the game that can contribute to this, such as certain events occurring on the map. These events can include raid bosses being killed or even ancient relics being activated by players. Those of you who have been following along would already know that weather and seasons will affect much more than just the visuals of the world around you. These systems will of course affect herbology matters such as crops and gatherables. If you're growing crops, it will be very important to understand the seasons and when not to plant and also gather your crops. These systems will also affect skills and abilities, vehicles and mounts, ships, creatures and loot tables, behaviors, resistances and weaknesses, synergies. Targeting with certain abilities may change, such as if you're in a storm, your AoE radius of some of your spells may shrink down, and much more. I'm going to show you some specific examples of cool things that were shown to us here in a minute, but first I'm going to let this semi-cinematic in-game footage trailer play out for you. If you don't want to watch the whole thing, just look for the chapter markers below. It's only a few minutes long. So that was a case of just let the visuals do the talking. All the footage in this video is from the Riverlands biome, which will be the largest biome in the Alpha 2. The Riverlands will be a biome that experiences more of a traditional seasonal change across all 4 seasons, while some of the other biomes will be different and some will of course experience less seasonal change. One of the main things that I noticed in that particular trailer was the creatures of the world changing with the seasons. And luckily for us, Steven actually gave us an in-game look at the Kirin going through some seasonal change. And for those of you who may remember, the Kirin were the fastest land mounts in the Alpha 1.
Yeah, these are fantastic models.
Watch the Kirin change. Oh, look at them. They change with the seasons.
That was fun for me to figure out.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that looks so good, James.
So yeah, this is pretty awesome, and this seasonal change will happen with a variety of different creatures across the world of Vera, including some of the dragons. Another scene that stood out to me was this scene, where we got to see some merchant ships sailing by, and then a storm rolls in, which greatly reduces visibility on the map.
Instrumental in the overall design of the economy in the game. Speaking of economy, are those two merchant ships?
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Like maybe the strait opens up and suddenly they're able to transport goods a little faster.
Right.
We're playing with the idea of freezing over rivers and things, but
Yeah.
like, the implications, it opens up a lot of can of worms. Like someone could get trapped under the ice. But
Controls here to demonstrate some more of the systems in a more dynamic,
Oh.
real-time way.
Oh.
As he measures in some
Let there be rain! Look at this. This is great. I love how the distance visibility changes and the night, the kind of overhead cast comes online.
Looks amazing for pre-Alpha 2 footage. In this clip, focus your eyes on the grass and watch how the wind creates waves.
Self.
There you go.
Oh, look at the wave movement across the grass. How did you get that to occur?
Not stuff that you typically see in MMOs. During rainstorms, you should expect puddles to form in the lower areas of terrain height, and in the winter, snow will melt differently depending on where and how it built up. One of the biggest systems that weather and seasons will affect is the in-game economy. Citizens in different biomes will have to adapt to current weather conditions, and at times will have to seek resources from players in other biomes, and of course the prices of goods and even services are going to fluctuate accordingly. Trade routes may be blocked off by the snow, and players will have to find alternate routes to ensure that their businesses can stay afloat. In this particular clip, we watch as ice melts and allows the player to access an area that they may not have been able to before.
You might want to.
Oh, yeah, there goes.
Abracadabra.
Yes, melt. Oh, there's a
boy.
door. Why is it
What
so
is going on?
bright in there?
I don't know.
What is going on?
I think you guys get the gist of it. This was a wonderful development update, and I encourage you guys to go over to the Ashes of Creation YouTube channel and watch these videos in 4K. They were just uploaded today. Really looking forward to the next development update, and as always, for more Ashes of Creation content, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Right now I'm covering every monthly development update, and I've done it for over a year and a half now, I believe. I do have an Ashes of Creation playlist on this channel if you would like to catch up. Thank you guys so much for watching, and catch you on the next one.